Okay, so I honestly truly believe this might be the greatest piece of KonoSuba content we've had to date. And if anyone watched my movie video that I did, the review for that, or my reaction for that, that to me was like the peak of KonoSuba. It was hilarious. And over this season, I've been saying, I really feel like season 3 is going to not only surpass that movie for me, but become the greatest piece of KonoSuba content we've had. And I kid you not, within a few minutes of this episode, I had a feeling this was about to be the funniest thing. And if you really think about it, over 2 seasons in a movie, and some odd episodes of a season 3, there is so many hilarious and amazing points to this show that are people's favorites. Whether it's the frog gag, whether it's the panty gags, whether it's the numerous gags that each of these characters go through. But when you throw Kazuma into this fat bastard's mansion, and they somehow feel like two peas from the same pod, and out of every character, if you go back to season 1, people would not have expected Darkness to become the mature one in this show. But Darkness became the mature one in this show. It helps that she's kind of in a royal situation where she has to be, but her collectively having to apologize for the BS behavior of this entire group. The first 10 or 11 minutes of this episode alone was enough for me to say, I think this is the new funniest shit I've seen in the show. But then you add in the Chris shit, man. So, I didn't initially realize it when our hammer was stolen. I didn't notice until people pointed out that it was probably Chris who stole our hammer of infinite wealth. The idea that Chris is like going around and just cleaning up the mess seemingly that Aqua made of just casually giving out these powerful items into this world. You know, there's always been the running theory that I've always seen in the fandom that, you know, Chris is Eris. And honestly, I took a look at what Eris's face looks like because I couldn't remember off the top of my head. It pretty much does look the same, so Chris, Eris probably are the same person, which makes the whole gag even funnier. But the idea that our boy, just the tied up moment, and them laying into like, I trashed your room, I don't like how you treat me, it's just, from top to bottom, it felt like I experienced a movie's length amount of comedy in 20 minutes. And because of that, there was no breathing room, but just me constantly saying, how in God's name are they upping the comedy? And while comedy is subjective, people will like what they like. I'm honestly shocked that I think a singular KonoSuba episode is funnier than the entirety of that KonoSuba movie. Because that shit was hilarious to me. I'm already gonna say it, and I honestly can't believe I'm saying this already. I think in 4 episodes, KonoSuba Season 3 is already better than the previous seasons. 100%. Full live reactions over on my Patreon. If you want to see my full uncut thoughts to this or any of these hilarious KonoSuba episodes, going to be over there if you're interested. So, let's just start in order. The mansion stuff. So, this dude's creepy. He's a freak of nature. The fact that as soon as I saw him peeping in on the maids in the bathing area, I was like, oh no. They're going to become best friends. Because Cosmo at the end of the day is a scumbag. He is. And the fact that he tried to push him out of the room saying, nah, I don't want you. This is disgusting behavior. Now I'm going to use the room. If it wasn't for Darkness coming in, do you want to know what would have happened? They both would have had goddamn popcorn and their eyes pressed up against the screen in like a Looney Tunes level gag. Peak scumbags. Peak scumbags. And it makes for comedy gold in the KonoSuba world. But it's just the fact of how every time this man spends a second in a rich location, whether it's the princess's kingdom, whether it's this fat noble bastard's mansion, they just make themselves at home and crash the party. The fact that somehow, I didn't think this was possible, near the end of their stay, when they're all a little too, situated, bubbly getting drunk, the maid's getting drunk with Aqua, Megami being Megami, and Cosmo saying, I'll take my regular massage, I'll take this, I'll take that. And he has to look at Darkness being like, what's going on here? It's just fantastic. It's just peak douchebaggery. And the fact that Chris ends up robbing, and then Cosmo jumps and says, you know what, I want nothing to do with this la la la, fingers in my ear. She ties him up. I thought each of them, all 3 of them, were going to tell Cosmo something they did to him that was wrong, just based on how it started. But it was so much better. You have the idea that Aqua just admits to being a horrible person and how much she trashed his room. And then Darkness and Megami are just getting their revenge. Though I have to admit, the way they detailed what he did to Chris was fantastic. So the first of which was the dessert and the jiggle effects as he was feeling her up, to then the balloons smacking, I was like, oh, that's just fantastic. But honestly, as funny as the first half was, there was something pretty charming about the second half. And this is what I think really makes it my favorite episode and piece of KonoSuba content, is that while there's technically breathing room moments, it's not constantly jokes or meme faces. It's the fact that the entirety of this episode is as out of pocket as you can think Konosuba can be, while still sneaking in a couple of are you serious moments. I mean, in complete Kazuma fashion, after getting woke up yet again and just being like, goddamn, I want nothing to do with what you're selling to me. Demon's attacking and he wants to go back to bed until he realizes that he can actually benefit from this and potentially go back to the castle. And now he seems like the knight in shining armor dragging Aqua's dumb ass with them into the big battle. There's something about this episode that just clicked with my humor so well, while also continuing to progress and make it feel like more than a comedy. Of course, you have the development with Darkness being more mature and actually feeling like the mom of the group, but the biggest was actually Megumi being more honest with her feelings. Even if she did blue balls our boy with the whole idea of like, let's go on a date and it's her just casting explosion magic, at the end of the day, she is being more honest with her feelings, which does seem to be the main romance that the author is writing. There's something about this season and where Konosuba's at, where if you look at season 1 being the comedy season, if you look at season 2 being more of the story setup season with obviously some funny moments, season 3 in the movie feels like where the author found their groove and now can blend in story, plot, characters meets the most absurd comedy you can expect. And as I keep saying, the studio's doing a fantastic job producing this because the faces are fantastic. The funniest moments are always characters in the background. It's not even the central character in their dumbfounded phase. It's like Megumi or a maid just being like, did that bitch really just say that? And it makes me laugh every time. The more I see of Konosuba, the more I enjoy Konosuba, and it is going to be fantastic to see where the second half of this season's going to go, because obviously next week's going to be fantastic, but it feels like once that's all said and done, it's really up in the air on what Konosuba wants to do with its content. But honestly, Darkness has been the most pleasant surprise for the season for me in terms of just where her character's been going, and I just love how she had to become the mom of the group. But let me know what you thought down below. Maybe you completely disagree with me, you don't think it's that funny at all, or maybe you're like, you know what? This really does feel like the peak of Konosuba comedy. Let me know what you're feeling down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell so you know if I want to upload more, and like I mentioned, got those full live reactions over on my Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Parami Arden, Matthew Perzu, Kakyu, Nowhere, and we also have Laser. So I appreciate the support, everyone. And please take care. Have a good one.